joining us for the success story series. So to begin with, if you could just introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about your WorkX background, that would be great.
I'm Sanjana Banerjee from the city of Joy, Kolkata. I have done my engineering from the same city and in electronics and communication, and I have around 9 years of experience in the corporate sector, mainly product development and consulting, technology consulting. I also have experience working as a professional dancer in the Indian film industry, and I was a competitive swimmer, an avid quizzer, and yeah, I think I love to read, chat, and I've been part of debates and extempores. So yeah, I've tried to keep myself busy over the years since my school days, and I think I'm continuing in the same vein.
Awesome.
Is there anything you want to know apart from my WorkX and extracurriculars? I mean, I just gave you a synopsis.
Yeah, that's perfect. So Sanjana, why did this whole thought process of an MBA come to your mind? Like 9 years of experience, doing well in your career. Why did you feel you wanted to do an MBA?
So, firstly, I felt that I needed to transition to the managerial roles. And for that, I felt that I needed the theoretical knowledge as well as the teaching pedagogy of a reputed institution, which I currently lack. I mean, I have the experience, I have worked very hard, I have learned a lot of stuff, but I felt somewhere that I think an MBA or per se, or maybe an education which would thrust me into more of the, I would say, management section of the jobs of any corporate job would help me, and a theoretical knowledge as well as a working knowledge along with the experiential experience knowledge that these international colleges provide would be, I would say, invaluable in the long run.
Right.
So I looked at the long run and kind of, I would say, weighed in my options, and then I thought, okay, let's give this a go. And there is another side to it, is the fact that some of my uncles, my own mom, and many of them are like masters and MBAs from IIMs and Duke, I mean, international colleges like Duke. That inspired me. My own brother cleared IIM Lucknow and Faculty of Management Studies, and then he became a alumni of FMS and he started his work experience. So all this, one after the other, where I would say stepping stones to my final decision.
Awesome, awesome. So, GMAT is always the first step to, this whole journey. And we've been almost in sync in terms of the GMAT journey also.
Yes.
So tell me about, your GMAT process and how did you go about it? And, there were times where, you really struggled with the health aspect also. So,
Absolutely.
you could just tell us a little bit
So
about
my
you
yeah.
overcome it more importantly.
Sure. I will. So my health struggle has been for 17 years now, maybe 18 years. And it has been pretty intense at times and has hampered some of my, I would say, performance as well as my growth as a human being and as well as a professional. But somewhere I didn't let that, affect me. I just kept at it. So 2 years ago, I had a formaldehyde poisoning and I was bedridden. I had reactive arthritis. I couldn't move. I was on leave from office for a long time. So although I started my studies, I could not continue it because I had to regularly go to Manipal hospital and get my injections and stuff. I also have autoimmune disorder, which leads to a lot of problems along with neurological problems as well. So, I mean, this combination is pretty deadly. And over the years, I have learned to tackle with it. So, alternative options like good exercises, stretching, Pilates, swimming, and, a bit of, I would say, cycling, and, enjoying what I do, watching a movie or maybe even reading a book just to de-stress. So, I think 2 years ago when that happened, I told myself, no, fine, it's going to be late. I'm going to be late, but better late than never. And I again started in 2019, and then I had to take a decision whether I want to focus, I mean, solely on my studies, or do I want to carry on both. And during that time again, I had few complications with my medications, which led to a lot of side effects. And 2020, as we all know, was a disaster. So by 2020, I was ready for my exam, and I was scoring, somewhere between 680 to 700, which I felt was a decent score for all the, competitive colleges. But my exam was cancelled as the center had closed, and I had to wait 2 months for the next date to come up. And the next date that came up was on, I think, Lakshmi Puja, which I did not know was a holiday in Bengal. So the 7 days before I inquired, and they told me again that my exam would be delayed. By then, I would say, I had burnt out, and I was on nerve tranquilizers for my anxiety as well as my neurological issues. So the doctor had started me on a new medication which has a symptom of, hand tremors and agitation. So these are common symptoms, and I did not realize how that would affect me. It affected me very badly. So before the day of the exam, or maybe 7 days, I told the doctor, and he said, no, you have to continue and see how you respond to it. So I didn't really have a choice. I didn't go to a second doctor for a second opinion. I had to just go with whatever the virtual, appointments were, ending up being. So on the day of the exam or before it, I started feeling terrible. I was again getting insomnia. I couldn't sleep for like almost 5, 6 days back to back. And I knew that I was feeling very weak. My hands were trembling. I was sweating a lot, unnecessary sweating. So I realized that I'm not being able to adapt to the medication at all. But it was too late. I had my exam and I had to give it. I had to, get over with it. So I went to the examination center, and the moment it started, I could feel that I could not, focus on what was in front of me. Like even reading two lines of a question was becoming tough. My hands were shaking. My vision, I already have glasses and stuff, but somehow that day I felt I was not myself at all. So after my quant section was over, I realized I did not perform up to the mark, because it's quant, right? You know what you got correct and what you didn't get correct. And I had a very bad feeling. And I was like, okay, let's leave it. Let's just like leave the center and go back home. Believe me, in the break, in the interim, I had all these, thought processes and feelings coming into my head, bugging me. Then I drank a sip of water. I had like half a banana just to give me some energy. And I was like, fine, I've never walked out of anything in my life, especially exams and, interviews and stuff, competitions. So I said, let's do it. I mean, let's get done with it. Jo hoga, hoga. I mean, kya hoga? I'll get a bad score, right? What more can happen to me? And maybe I won't get my MBA this year. So, and believe me, all this happened during those 4 hours of my exam. I started my verbal comprehension, RC. I had really improved on RC. SC was my strong point. CR was like okayish, but RC I had really improved. But that day I felt my reading capacity was tested to its max. I maxed out. And by the end of the verbal section, I was fatigued to the core. I didn't have the strength to, even write the AWA, or even, go with the IR section. I thought, I was thinking, is there any way in which I can contact the, center head and tell him that, okay, can I give these two sections later, or can I be considered as ill? And, all sorts of, negative thoughts and thoughts which were not helping me at all. But I just became a zombie. I zoned out. I went on attempting all the IR questions, and then I did the AWA. So AWA was more like, I don't remember what the last portions of AWA was, but I remember I finished it. I finished all the sections on time. And yeah, and the exam was over. It was finally over. And the score that came up to me was a 640, which was the lowest. I mean, even my lowest score in the mocks was a 670, I remember. And this was a 640, a good 30 points below what my lowest score was. So I knew that I'm headed for like a big, I'm in deep soup and nothing can help me anymore. I went home, and believe me, from that day till today, I've been in extreme trauma. Like extreme trauma. Yeah, there are times in your life when you are tested and when you are pushed to the brink, but this was I knew I was doing well. I knew the content. I could score well in the mocks. There was no reason I couldn't do well during the day of the test, but I didn't do well.
Mm,
And I had to accept it.
mm,
I went to a counselor because I wasn't getting sleep at all.
mm,
I was getting nightmares. I felt really anxious day after day, and there was no improvement at all. I changed my medication again, went to the doctor again, and told me this and this happened. And what would the doctor do? He'll just change the medication, and then he'll see how I, am after that. So I started getting my therapy like once in 10 days, counseling and stuff, where she was telling me, okay, I said, what's the point in applying? I mean, I stand nowhere. I felt like, even amongst like 1,000 candidates, I would be the 1,000th candidate probably when they, go through the applications. And then I realized this is 2020. Competition is the worst this year because probably everyone's applying. So I thought, okay, my counselor somehow told me, no, you can, give it a shot. Then I thought, okay, let's give it a shot. I already had one application remaining with Crack Verbal as well. So I thought, okay, let's go ahead with it. And I applied a few colleges on my own with the help of another consultant. And I said, okay, jo hoga, hoga again. And I spoke to this lady, I think Kirtana. She's the one who I think syncs up all the people. And I said, okay, I'll apply to some of these colleges. But amongst all my targets, I was one college which was the highest ranked amongst all. And I know their average score is also pretty decent. And I was way off the mark. So I was like, fine, no matter what. Then I got some encouragement from people saying I have a good profile and I have experience and maybe I can answer questions well. I have some technical awards and I have won appreciations from many people, including Sunil Chetri, the Indian football captain. So these were tiny, tiny, things which kept egging me on, and I kept applying. So I was waitlisted and I was like, okay, fine, chalo, rejection to nahi. And the day I got the interview calls, I remember that was the day when I felt okay. I wasn't the 1,000th candidate or the 2,000th candidate in the pool. Maybe I was somewhere in between. And I started preparing for the interviews and studying and making myself well acquainted with the case studies. Some of these schools ask case studies as well. By the time I got over with my interviews, I thought, okay, I don't think I'll be rejected by all the schools. Like somewhere I was getting to see a light at the end of the tunnel. But waitlisting doesn't help. And I was told by most of the schools that it's because I'm an Indian, and already the Indian pool has been huge this year and they are inundated with applications. So I said, okay, fine. But the IE result was the last one, which came at the very end, and I applied in one of the last rounds. So I was like, I don't stand a chance because most of the classes like full 90% is over. It's barely the 10%. Local candidates and people like that. On the day of the day, I mean, I had even sent a mail that would the can I get the decision like a day ahead or something? And they said, we'll try. They don't commit. I mean, as you all are already aware. I got my decision a day early and it was a congratulations. And believe me, I just read that. I again zoned out. I showed the screen, my mobile screen to my dad. He started crying. Okay. And then I was in a state of shock that, okay, I am going to study this year in September and and I'm going to be in the best school that I applied to, and all my nightmares are somehow going to end up to be a I would say for me again it's an experience. Even I am motivated at this point of time, and I feel that, okay, chalo, like people say, you keep trying, you do this, don't ever give up, and so many profound sayings about life in general and human beings achieving so many things. So I may not have been like a celebrity or a Guinness World Record holder, but somewhere I feel, okay, I did something good in in my I would say efforts. and in my interviews and whatever I did for the application process. And yeah, so the day I got my finals and I got a scholarship, and I got a really good scholarship, which I didn't expect. I asked for something which would be good, not nominal, better than nominal. But what they awarded me was the women's scholarship, and the amount is pretty decent. Even so, financially as well, I was relieved that okay, it's not going to be something which will, really bother me and kill me and get me sleepless nights. So yeah, overall, I think it's been a roller coaster, and the downward spiral was pretty intense, and I thought it's going to be endless, but finally it has ended, and I'm talking to you, and I think you can understand my feelings and my exhilaration after what I went through.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, Sanjana, my entire team has been involved in your journey. Everybody is so happy for you, and
Thank
right
you.
from GMAT to every instructor that you have, spoken to, and obviously my counseling team. Everybody is so happy. In fact, round 6, getting into IE with an amazing scholarship is amazing.
Thank
We are
you.
we are so happy with you, because all this part that you're saying, we knew this, right? We were
I
part of
remember I
your
used to,
journey.
tell you, I used to tell Arvind, Aditya. It was, and at times it was pathetic. I used to feel so embarrassed, and I was like, will they think that I'm giving excuses? It's becoming so lame with every passing day. But it was the fact. I mean, I was living it every goddamn day.
Yeah.
And right now, and after it sunk in, after the result sunk in, I actually cried.
Mm.
I have never cried after any results. I have done well too. I've got good scores and good GPAs, and I have done well in offices and won awards. But this, I would say, the top three events in my life, if there are, I think this would be one or two. I mean, either the first major event which changed me as a human being, or the second biggest. I don't know which it is, but it is amongst, the turning points, as we say. And I cried. And my mom said, "You cry as much as you want." Because believe me, after a certain point of time, I was not crying. There was just no emotion inside me. I forgot how to smile. I was basically very neutral. And I had a deadpan expression on my face all the time, no matter what. So my mom said that I can actually see your emotions after months. So yeah, I mean, coming from my mom, I think that's a lot.
No, so we are really, really happy for you, Sanjana. And, I'm sure you will do awesome in your career. You'll do awesome in your MBA program too. Like you said, it is a turning point for you in your life. And I think, your focus should be completely to make the most of it.
Yes,
And,
true.
I'm sure
And
you will.
thank you so much. Thank you. I have really, kind of sometimes I didn't know. I felt helpless, and I used to ping some of you. I didn't know what to do or what the next step was. But thank you for bearing with me, and thank you for encouraging me.
Yeah.
Really, I'm grateful to you, all of you.
Thank you, Sanjana, and that means a lot. And I'm so grateful that we were part of your journey. And yeah, so I think going ahead from here, I would like to know more about what you do at IE, and how your life has changed after that, and how you will be in Spain, and all the beautiful things that is going to happen to you.
Yes, absolutely. And in the meantime, I think I forgot to mention that after I quit my job, I had applied in the interim to UC Berkeley for one of their immersive programs. It's a specialization, and I got selected. So I think that was the starting point of me, getting a hang of it, that okay, if I have to get into full-fledged education and be a student again, I can do it.
Hmm.
And my specialization is almost going to be over. My exams are going on, my midterms are over, my finals are about to be over as well. So yeah, it has been a pretty enriching experience, and the learning curve was pretty steep.
Yeah. So tell us about this whole special immersive program. So I remember you had to write an essay for that, and there was a webinar that they asked you to write an essay for. So
Yes.
what is the cohort, and how what is it? I think it's a 2-3 week program. Like how
No,
long?
no, it's not a 2, 3 week program. It's an entire semester.
Okay, and
So,
what does it take for you to apply to these kind of programs?
what I think, what for me, it was my experience,
Mm.
my, I would say, collective knowledge as a product developer, innovator, and even my exposure in the film industry, from where, I basically build my team building skills and improv skills. So the essay wanted to know me more as a human being,
Mm.
and something which not there on my transcripts. Or yeah, GPA is important, it's important in every school,
Mm.
it's needless to say, but what they wanted to see was how can I contribute to the class and the kind of diversity I add.
Mm.
And I should not be just another student who's walking in. So and the essay dealt more with me as a human being and my personal achievements,
Right.
and also areas in my life where from which I think I have learned a lot and which I can share with the world. And from those experiences they might get to know me more as a person, as a human being, and how I react to, I would say, extenuating circumstances.
Right.
There was an incident where I saved a girl from a raging fire. There was also an incident where I faced a baby shark while snorkeling in the sea. So yeah, these are very, personal events and incidents, and also my collective experience in leadership, right from school to college to my work experience. So I think, yeah, all these combined together, it made, I would say, I don't know, I mean, some people said it was an interesting essay. So yeah, I mean, transcripts, essays, and they also asked for an interview.
So
And
how big is this cohort, and how many people are there in this cohort?
it's not a big cohort because it's more of specialization and teamwork and project work, case studies. So I would say the total cohort was around 75, 80-ish. And we are all divided. So I am doing my immersion in data analytics, which will help in my MBA. Sorry, MBA again. And then if I want to do another semester, I can go for either data science or project management.
Okay.
So, and at the end of it, if you do like 2 semesters, you will get a postgraduate diploma from UC Berkeley. And since I'm doing 1 semester and my MBA will start from September, so I'll get my specialization certification from UC Berkeley. And I also won one competition in UC Berkeley, and I was sent this UC Berkeley mascot from the
Oh,
school.
very nice. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's awesome. I think great things happening to you, Sanjana, and all the best.
Thank you so
Good
much.
luck for everything from the bottom of our heart. And, we all are very, very happy for you. And thank you so much for giving me time for this, call. And, we'll definitely love to know more about how you are doing over there, during your MBA program. And we'll be in constant touch.
Yeah, sure. I would love to stay in touch with all of you. Definitely goes without saying. And thank you for, taking my viewpoints and my, I would say, opinion on how my things went. I mean, how my application process went, what I went through. So thanks for being a part of my journey.
Thank you, Sanjana. Thanks a lot and wish you luck.
Thank you so much. I need it. I need it. And all the best to you. Wish you a speedy recovery again.
Thank you.
And keep up the great work.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Sanjana. Take care.
Bye
Yeah.
bye. Take
Bye.
care.